symbiotic. So remember, universe moves towards more differentiation, more novelty, and then more symbiosis across that novelty for more emergence. And what we're moving towards is a civilization where everyone actually identifies this way as a emergent property of the whole, as an interconnected part of universe with a unique role to play, with unique synergies with all the other unique roles to play. And then with that synergy, with that human participation, then humanity actually becomes a thing. It actually becomes an emergent property. Right now it's an idea, but we don't have humanity, we don't have civilization, we have humans bumping, right? We have a bunch of organelles that haven't organized as a cell that starts breathing, right? You don't have behavior of the whole that is centrally and consciously self-organizing. But we can. And I would actually say, and this is what I wanted to have more time to get into, but to just foreshadow quickly, if we cherry pick from the huge data sets about where humanity is going right now, we can see that things are exponentially changing, which means changing at more and more rapid and more significant rates. And you can cherry pick metrics where things are getting exponentially better, and that's true, and other things are getting exponentially worse, and that's also true. Which means the future that you predict, if you just follow any of those curves, is not happening. If things are getting exponentially better and worse at the same time, does everybody kind of get that that's happening on different metrics? Yes. Then that doesn't mean things are getting better or worse. It means the current system is destabilizing. And that means self-terminating. And then we either have a discrete phase shift to a lower order entropic system or the emergence of a higher order system that is foundationally different than the current system we have in every way. So the things getting better are the pieces that can be reorganized to create a new civilization with a foundationally new structure, right? Biosphere metrics are getting exponentially worse from misapplication of technology. Technology's right application are making things fundamentally better, but technology is giving us the capacity to do things like have data analytic capabilities to inventory all the world's resources, to then be able to allocate all the world's resources to meet all the world's needs with optimum efficiency. We never had that ability before. Like the transportation and communication technologies that can actually make us a global civilization. We never had that before, right? And so the technological capacities that require us to step up, otherwise we, self-extinction is a very real thing, also make possible a discrete phase shift in evolution that's characterized by three major things. And this will be where I end. At the level of social systems, primarily economics, the key shift we're going to move to is moving from a differential advantage economy. It's defined by private ownership, valuation based in scarcity, and differential advantage, to an economic system that is defined by making sure that the incentive of every agent and the well-being of every other agent and the commons is perfectly aligned with no externality. Meaning we actually understand that it's an interconnected system, we identify all the externalities and internalize them, so the system's actually defined by systemic advantage for the whole. This is not communism or socialism or capitalism. It's something that was not possible before to even anticipate. But it is how your body works, where none of the cells are advantaging themselves at the expense of the other. They're doing what's best for them, what's best for the whole, symbiotically at the same time, right? And so that's the key net shift at the level of macroeconomics and correspondingly governance and all of our social structures. At the level of infrastructure in the built world, we're moving from a linear materials economy where we extract from the earth at ever-growing rates unsustainably from finite resources and then turn it into trash, to a closed-loop materials economy where the trash is the new stuff. We stop extracting from the earth, stop producing waste, and we actually have a post-growth, negative entropy, closed-loop materials economy where we can live ongoingly at progressively higher and higher quality of life sustainably with the biosphere. So that's the infrastructure shift, that's the social structure shift, and the superstructure, the mimetic shift, is this awareness of all of us as facets of one integrated, self-evolving reality where the well-being of everyone, the well-being of everyone else, the well-being of the commons are not meaningfully calculable separate from each other. Now what's so interesting is there used to be such a thing as local problems. When Gandhi was working with home rule for India, it was largely thought of as an Indian problem, and it didn't directly affect everybody, right? When people in the U.S. wanted to, or who founded the U.S. wanted to leave British Empire, there was somewhere else to go. and it was a local problem. Right now, when we deal with species extinction and ocean acidification and peak nitrogen, peak phosphorus, they're all global issues, and you can't solve them without China and without India and without the US and without everyone participating. So the idea that we have local issues is gone. Our level of global infrastructure and technology has made it to where we have all global issues. And they're actually existential. They are threatening of the biosphere. No one has ever had issues in the history of humanity that threatened the ability of the species to continue. Nor did they have ones that they had to face eminently in short term, nor did they have the capacity to actually face those kinds of things. The data science, the technology that could build something fundamentally new. What that means is we have the most significant work that humanity has ever had, with the most significant capabilities, which also means the most potential to impact the biggest picture that any humans have ever had. And it's easy to think about that and then get caught back into like shit you got to do next as part of to win at the current system that is going extinct. But winning at a system that is obsoleting the capability of life on Earth to continue, winning at a dying system is not an interesting win. Right? If you ever think about the definition of heaven, where you're in heaven and there are people in hell and you're happy, you have to be a psychopath. You have to be able to separate from the experience of other sentient things enough that you can be totally stoked with that level of suffering. Well, the idea in this world that the level of intensity of suffering that's happening can be happening and you can just be stoked because you're killing it in your life, you have to be mildly psychopathic. If we want to not be psychopaths, then there is no definition for success for ourselves. It is not definition of success for everything. And now when we start really taking that seriously, fucking everything changes. And then you start saying, well, what can I actually do to make my life of greatest use to all life? And then your answer to that question, if you take it seriously and really study and really work on it and don't just like ask the question, get overwhelmed, give up, and go back to current stuff, your progressively better answer to that question will lead to the emergence of your life meaning and dharma and path. And correspondingly, the emergence of civilization making it.